everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at another TEMU tattoo machine. Now, if you've ever been on TEMU and looked up tattoo machines or tattoo equipment, no doubt you've saw the company Poseidon. They seem to be one of the bigger names on there. They make a whole variety of machines and equipment, not only under the name of Poseidon, but they do make machines and rebrand them under a few different names. We can tell this if you look on the pictures. We can see that the machine is branded by a different name. There are certain ones, when the battery turns on, they have the Poseidon logo and the word Poseidon across the display. So no doubtably, they rebrand their machines. This particular machine I've seen advertised as the Honeybee. It's easy to see why, the black and yellow design. If we turn it on, we can see it's got this honeycomb style design on the background. So it's not hard to see why someone may have called this the Honeybee. Although it is just listed sometimes as a wireless rotary tattoo pen. Now, as always, we're going to do a quick tattoo on some practice skin with this machine and see how it holds up, see if it's any good. After that, I'm going to let you know my thoughts and opinions on it. So let's jump in, get the tattoo done, and we'll see you afterwards. So now I've had a chance to do some tattoos with this on some practice skin. What are my thoughts and opinions on this? Well, first off, the build quality, it seems quite solid. The whole body is made of aluminium, I believe, and either this is powder coating or some type of paint finish. I'm not quite sure. The tip is fully metal as well. The tip itself has a ratchet style adjustment for our needle length, our needle throw, and that's a fairly stiff ratchet. So we've got a good click on it. So I'm quite confident that whilst we were tattooing, we wouldn't accidentally be adjusting this like we found on some of the cheaper machines that don't have a ratchet style or have a weaker ratchet. That was a problem. The battery itself is a removable battery. It's got a 2-pin prong system, similar to a Dragonhawk machine. That's quite common on them. And what I've also found is the battery from other Poseidon tattoo machines, they fit and work with this as well. So we do have that option of having it as a spare battery if we ever needed it. Now, when I bought this, I couldn't find an option to have a second battery or an auxiliary battery to fit this machine. It only ever came as either the machine itself with one battery or a kit with some extra accessories, some inks and such. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Now I can see in the middle here, this is an adjustable stroke length. It's quite a solid and substantial click, so we wouldn't accidentally be moving the machine and adjusting the stroke length whilst we're tattooing. As usual, quite common, it goes all the way from 2.4 to 4.2 in a 0.3 incrementations. So we've got a decent range of needle length for that. So we have the option on a 2.4 if we're doing some softer black and grey stuff, all the way to 4.2 if we're doing some heavy traditional or solid black work. The tip itself, as we can see, the black and yellow part is all conjoined. So when we adjust it, that's all moving together. But with this slight incline on it, I did find, although I put a elastic band around it to hold the grip tape and the machine bag in place, I don't feel that would be necessary due to the shape of the tip. I also found the slightly sharper curve here naturally gave a place for our fingers to sit whilst we were tattooing, so it felt quite comfortable. And I'm assuming this indent here is for our thumb. So ergonomics wise, they've put a little bit of thought into that. The battery itself, if we turn this on, we can see it's got a fairly bright display. We've got our power indicator, how much battery life we've got left. We've got our voltage, we've got our kickstart or jump start mode, we've got our hertz, we've got our timer, and we've got 3 memory functions. One thing to note, the frame that goes around the battery screen is a little bit offset, so when we're looking at it directly on, it's just ever so slightly cutting off the text. That's a minor thing. It doesn't affect the functionality. It comes with our standard USB-C charger as well. Now, what I did notice on this machine compared to some of the other Poseidon machines we've used, when it comes to the packaging, we've got the generic black box and the sleeve that goes over. I've seen this machine referred to as the honeybee machine a few times. Obviously, due to the black and yellow colour and this honeycomb pattern, I can understand why it's been referred to as that. On the side, this one does state it's professional for tattoo, so I'm assuming that's just a poor translation into English, and it wouldn't be a TEMU tattoo machine if the corner of the box wasn't beat up during transit. Inside the box itself, we've got a generic manual specific to this machine, and then a instruction manual with some QR codes. It works more like a product catalogue with a fantastical story about how Poseidon set out to revolutionise the tattoo industry. We have our standard USB-C cable and some spare seals to go on the inside of the adjustable grip there. So nothing spectacular, but yeah, as expected. Whilst I was using this machine though, I found that putting in lines, I was using a 9-round shader for the majority of the lines. It held up with them. It did a fine job on them. I then used an 11-round liner to do a few of the smaller lines. I had no issues with that. I then moved on to a 13-round mag to do the shading, and it worked as expected. So I've used these groupings of needle on this particular practice skin a few times, so I'm fairly confident about what I expect each grouping to turn out like, and this held up well. To note, there was no heat dissipation whilst I was using the machine at all. I've noticed with some of the cheaper machines, there is either a little bit of heat dissipation, or with the acrylic one I used, there was a lot of dissipation, and that relates into degradation of efficiency of the motor. And from what I've been told by people who know more about this than me, when a motor starts getting hot, it degrades the life expectancy of the motor. So obviously, I can't speak on the long-term reliability of a machine like this because I haven't had it long enough to speak to that. Price-wise though, this goes on TEMU for 35 to 50 euros for the machine itself. We only have the option to have one battery with it. Sometimes you can find it for a little bit more with some extra accessories such as inks and needles. Honestly, I wouldn't bother with that because these inks, if you're in the EU like myself, they aren't branded to be in compliance with the REACH specifications, so we couldn't use them anyway. So there's no point buying them just to throw them away. The needles themselves as well, I don't know how good they are. Everything else, some ink pots, some grip tape, you've probably got that anyway, so there's no point buying them for the sake of paying the extra. That being said though, at 35 euros, we could always find a TEMU code to knock a bit off. But compared to other machines I've tried at this price on TEMU, this seems to be a lot better than the other alternatives. Now, through the little bit of research I've done, it seems that this is one of the newer machines that Poseidon have made. So I'm assuming with their cheaper machines, it didn't fare up too well. They've been gave some feedback, or they've spent a little bit more time in the design phase and improved the quality of the machine. So overall, would I recommend this machine? So as a starter tattooer, I'd say it's a fairly solid choice to go for. If you're just looking to do some tattoo skins and learn the technique and refine your technique and get some practice in, I don't think you could go wrong with it. I would be fairly confident that if you were to start tattooing clients with this as well, you could do some decent tattoos. My only concern we'd have is how long it'd last. Obviously, if we go to some of the bigger companies, we can buy replacement parts, we can buy extra batteries, pins and so forth to fix anything that does go wrong. With Poseidon, you get what you get in the box. So if this machine was to die, if the motor was to go, there's really no way to replace it. If the battery was to die, we either have to find a replacement battery from a separate machine or just throw the whole machine away. Now, fortunately, at 30 to 50 euros, we can kind of deal with that. So would I recommend this? Probably yes. Would I use it as my main machine? Probably not, because you can buy better machines, albeit with a higher price tag. So with that said, have you tried this machine? Are you looking to buy this machine? Have you any thoughts and opinions on it? Let me know in the comments down below. And with that being said, I will see you in the next one.